a pass intercept. In the end, he was in the right place at the right time, playing with a chance to get Stoke back on level terms in this opening championship fixture for these two sides. The championship, of course, starts on Friday night with Derby picking up a late win against Reading, and plenty of drama yesterday as well on the first full Saturday of the season. Games going right through to next week as well. The first round of midweek fixtures in the championship. It's very busy and hectic at this time of year, as it is all year really in the championship. So many games to be played. Here at Leeds again over the halfway line with Phillips. He was nibbled at a couple of times before Etebo eventually brought him down, and the referee had tried to play advantage but had no further option left. Leeds trying to get on with it quickly, have been forced to come back, and will have to take this free kick again. Size it's going to be to take it. So he's just on his ribs a little bit there. I think caught one from Etebo as he was brought down. The free kick proof here, Stoke. Gary Rowett's not going to be happy, is he?
No, because now they've had a longer period where they've had the advantage in terms of keeping the ball, in terms of the possession, but they're doing nothing enough with it. And it does seem as though the few occasions where they have lost it in the last few minutes, Leeds on having to try too hard, and they're finding the space, aren't they? They're getting in towards the penalty area. We've seen them a couple of times, and the goal itself, of course, Rowett will be very disappointed that such experienced defenders were able to have two separate offside traps, if you like, and say the way Peters is positioned, there was nobody going to be offside.
Stoke playing around at the back at the moment. They played with a back three at times last season. Gary Rowett appears to have changed it to a back four for the time being. Whether that's his plan for the season, we'll have to wait and see as the games really pick up and start to progress. Not always necessarily going to stick to the formation that you start with. Back to Chelsea with Antonio Conte in his first season, that switching formation to a back three. So their season turn around and eventually going on to win the league. Sometimes still feeling things out at this point of the season, but both of these two sides regarded as potential promotion candidates. Certainly Stoke more so than Leeds. I think the fact that they've just come down from the Premier League, and Leeds more so than they have been in previous seasons because they've got Bielsa in and there's a little bit more optimism. Switch to the right hand side now for the home side, and Ayling puts it down the line. Size won't get there, but as it's cleared away, there's no one downfield for Stoke to try and latch onto it. Afobe already looking a little bit isolated.
He is a little bit, yeah. There was that spell just after Leeds scored where Stoke was starting to commit a few players further forward, and you saw Insan, McLean moving forward, but in the last few minutes again, it looks as though Afobe's just become a little bit more isolated, and Leeds are starting to see a bit more of the ball as well.
Leeds back on the halfway line at the moment, but comfortable in possession. 1-2 between Douglas and Cooper. In fact, Berardi it was, and now through to Cooper and out to the right-hand side with Ayling. He's asked far too much of Sice, and that'll bring an end to this Leeds attack, and that's really well played out of defence by Stoke, as Allen then overstretches and can't quite get to a ball on the halfway line, and it's cleared out into touch for a throw. Berardi reading it pretty well that time around. Stoke in no hurry to get on with this throw. Do you think Rowett would take a point already early in this game?
I think at the moment he probably would. I think if you said to him now that he could take a point, I think he would be happy with that, because his side haven't really got into the attacking positions for the possession that they've had. On the other hand, you would say that there's still the whole of this. There's still 50 minutes to go in the first, and there's a whole of the second half. And it would only take one good move. Inter's already clipped the bar as well. So I think maybe he would say that his side could do more, but there's still the potential that they will do more.
There is always a danger with Marcello Bielsa sides that they can be left a little bit open and exposed at the back, as we've seen with that holding midfielder Cleach getting forward at times. It does leave them slightly exposed when the fullbacks venture onto. Something that was very apparent when he was in charge of Athletic Bilbao. We'll have to wait and see if that's something that Stoke can take advantage of as the game progresses. At the moment, it's Stoke who are playing with a midfield five. The three that were supposed to be in there today of Allen and Dye and Etebo now being supported by Ince and McLean as well, as they try to just stop Leeds from getting through so comfortably, try and counteract the style of play that's coming towards them. So far unsuccessful in doing so. Leeds continue to stroke it around at ease with confidence, a little bit of swagger about themselves. Not massively effective, but doing just what they need to at this point in the game. Just under 15 to go until the break. They lead by a goal to nil on home soil, and they've very much got a grip on it.
They have. They really have got a grip on it at the moment. Stoke just seem to be a little bit out of ideas at this present time as well. Ball now chipped up towards Ince. He tried to play it forward, but it's going all the way back towards Peacock Farrell. Leeds still leading then by a goal to nil, and since we last spoke, Stoke have seen quite a lot of the ball, but haven't really done too much in terms of testing goalkeeper Peacock Farrell, or indeed the Leeds defence. A lot of possession in midfield. Ince and Afobe have just been a little bit more isolated. There was that one good chance when McLean pushed forward, and he could have actually taken a shot on himself when he broke into the box on his left foot, but he decided to play it square to Afobe, and that allowed Berardi to come back with the challenge to win the ball back for Leeds. Other than that, there's not been too much happening in front of goal. Leeds themselves haven't really been able to get forward, but they'll be pleased with the one goal lead. Stoke just needs to do a little bit more with the possession that they have, but at Ellen Road so far it's still Leeds United 1, Stoke City 0.
Really clever throw here, almost leads to a chance for Stoke, but McLean unable to find Afobe, and Douglas then really calmly in what was a pressure situation heads it back to his goalkeeper Peacock Farrell, and the danger dealt with. As Leeds can come over the halfway line again with Douglas. He's been given far too much room to run into, far too much time to find a pass, and it was Roof that he managed to lay it into. He was unable then to turn it round the corner for Alioski. That was far too simple really for sight, it was rather, not Alioski. Far too simple for Leeds to get into that position. Stoke still had a couple of bodies committed further down the field. So many warning signs here for Gary Rowett. He knows about what it takes in the Championship to try and be a force. Managed enough clubs at this level now. Of course, has not been successful in getting them out of this division. But he's been knocking on that door, and he felt that at Stoke he might finally get that chance. He's going to have to improve performances on the basis of what we've seen so far.
He is. I mean, he was a little bit unlucky really at Birmingham, the way things have transpired for him there. Very praised for the way he did things at Burton before that as well. So I think that Rowett is certainly making a very good name for himself at this level, and of course very close with Derby. The Derby have become a bit of a sort of a jinx side really, haven't they? They're always there or thereabouts in the playoffs, but can't quite get over the line. As free kick now to Leeds on the halfway line. Peters been called out a couple of times today. Yeah, that's something I think that perhaps players coming down from the Premier League don't appreciate, because they talk about how quick the Premier League is, but they forget sometimes that the Championship isn't a slow league. It's just a bit slower, but there are still a lot of very quick players, and Peters nearly got found out there.
Yeah, there's plenty of Championship experience in this Leeds side, probably more so than what there is in the Stoke side. Stoke may have the quality, but it's knowing about your surroundings as well, and everything that comes with playing at a lower level. It's not always as easy as it might well seem on paper. 36 minutes gone, independent off-tube studio commentary. Leeds 1, Stoke 0. Leeds with a long ball down the right, too long though. Roof had come in short for it. It was well over his head by Luke Ayling. Brings an end to the attack this time around for the West Yorkshire outfit. Leeds taking on Derby on Saturday. Team we mentioned before, one of Gary Rowett's old ones. Late game on Saturday, I'll make the trip to Derby. He picked up a win under Frank Lampard, new manager, in their first game. Looks like Jack Butland's had a bit of rough treatment with some paper being thrown on the pitch. His goal mouth is surrounded by paper balls and paper planes. Not that it's affected him too much as he clears away here from the goal kick. Doesn't find McLean, and as he tries to go and chase the ball down, he's a bit over-eager, brings his man down.
Yeah, Calvin Phillips brought down there. Will be a free kick to Leeds. Got about 8 minutes to go now. Just getting a few close-ups of the pitch, which is cutting out quite rough here, isn't it?
Yeah, out this left-hand side in particular, right from the early minutes it was starting to come up.
Well, we've had an incredibly hot summer, which has affected a couple of groundsmen have been given interviews this week, and they've been saying that the issue is that, although they're obviously, because of it's a professional place, they're not restricted by hosepipe bans necessarily, but because it has been so dry, so hot, it's been very difficult for that turf to get bedded down, and they don't want to water it too much because then it becomes too soft. If they don't water it enough, then it becomes too dry and it cuts up like we're seeing. So it's a difficult balance, and we can see, particularly on that left-hand side, there have got quite a few divots already.
Did have some rugby league played at Ellen Road as well earlier in the Super League season during the football off-season, whether that's had some sort of an effect on it.
It may well mean that they've had to relay parts of it since then, which has probably made it more difficult for it to bed down. But certainly it's something that the groundsmen are going to have to keep an eye on. We're going to have hot weather at least for another week or so. And in the meantime, Leeds have got towards the Stoke penalty area for the first time in a while.
Yeah, throwing out on the left-hand side, it's probably 5 yards. It's maybe going to be about 10 yards by the time the man Douglas taking it, picks his position. But it's down that flank anyway, and looks as though he's going short here, hasn't wound up to send a long one in, and he does eventually go to Alioski and Saiss, edge of the box, to cute round the corner, shot is saved by Butland, really powerful volley, and good strong hands again from Butland, but it's the kind of movement we've seen from Leeds a couple of times in this first half, 2 or 3 players in the triangles, running in behind, and all one-touch, quick, smooth stuff, and Stoke are struggling to deal with it.
Stoke are struggling to deal with it. That was a good move as well, as you said. It was a ball flicked up there at the edge of the penalty area. Lovely hit first time. The flick up was from Hernandez, and I think the ball drops to Alioski. It is on the left-hand side of the penalty area. The strike, though, is straight at Butland.
Yeah, one of those that, coming off his boot, Alioski would have thought he'd done everything right there to find the back of the net. It was a sweet strike, bit of whip on the ball outside of the boot, but Jack Butland showing his Premier League quality, and if Stoke are to keep hold of him, they're going to regard that as almost a new signing as Roof comes in and gets the shot away. Oh, it's just wide of the far post. Well, Butland was stranded at his near post. He gets up and shrugs his shoulders at his defenders and asks the question, where were you?
Yeah, well, this is a very good rally from Leeds now, having survived a spell of Stoke possession without too many chances. Leeds, in just a couple of minutes, have created more chances than Stoke had in their long spell, and Roof finding the space in the box. This is what is going to be a worry for Rowett, is the fact that Leeds pretty much on request can get into the box, and they're finding the space as well.
Far too easily when they move the ball, make runs. Players are being dragged out of position. I think it was Martin Zindi that had stepped out of defence, and in doing that it opened up a huge gap then for Roof to run into. He's obviously got the pace on Ryan Shawcross, so when it comes to a battle in terms of a ball rolled into space, he's always going to win it. Marcelo Bielsa will be a very happy man at the moment. Of course, he'll want more of a cushion in this game. 5 minutes to go until the break. If they could grab a second, what a position that will put Leeds in to go and pick up a victory on the opening day in what was billed as somewhat of a tricky match against Stoke. They're making easy work of it for the time being. Shawcross clears one away first time. Only though into the path of Phillips. Works it right hand side, fires it in fact into the feet there of Hernandez, and he can't quite get onto the return ball as he fouled. Well, play will continue. Ball comes in from Roof, and the header is just wide. Alioski with another chance.
Yeah, Saiss has gone down, and he's now up, making quite a bit of a fuss about this one. Let's just have a look as this ball goes down the right-hand side. Saiss flicks it up. It's then headed back to him, and is he caught there by Martin Zindi? From that first free play, I can't see much of a foul at all. He certainly stayed down for quite a while, but then he was very quick to get up as well.
Yeah, I think he's trying to appeal that there was some sort of an arm raised out towards the chest, the stomach area. As you say, the replay is not really confirming it, but he had enough about him to get up and scream at the referee afterwards. The chance was there anyway. The referee would have been right to play an advantage in that situation rather than stop it. So I think fair play to the referee if that was what he did intend to do. If not, it works out okay anyway, as Stoke have it through midfield with Ndiaye. Holds off the first challenge, has got support there from Ince, who's coming in from the right, goes past a couple, fires it into McLean, whose first touch had to be good and was okay, and with that then Leeds are able to get a challenge in, and Eiling has caught Peters.
Yeah, well, he's apologised straight away. Peters is hobbling a little bit there. Eiling instantly saying sorry for that one, although I think it's just been given as a throw anyway. But it's a bit of a contact there as Peters takes the throw on quickly, trying to get McLean on the run. But that one is hooked away.
Yeah, ball is then eventually cleared downfield for Kemar Roof to chase. Shawcross has a word with Butland and says this one's coming your way, and he can prepare and simply pass it out to Martin Zindi. Looks for the long ball downfield, and it's just wasted already. Looking as though they're struggling for ideas, Stoke.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. They've pumped a couple of long balls forward. They've been caught in possession a couple of times in midfield. Ince has flitted in and out of the game, really. There was that spell just after Leeds scored where he actually started to get into the game. But now at the end of this first half, it's been pretty much like the start of the first half in that he's not in the game at all.
Peter Strong in a challenge here to win it for the Potters. To Ince it goes, and then Atebo just took too long in trying to release that ball. It took a deflection on its way through and didn't have the legs to reach a Phobie. The Leeds can come out of their own half with Phillips. He does spot two white shirts on the left-hand side, can find one of them in Alioski. Roof then makes the run inside of him and cut back away from goal. Tried to reverse that ball back to Alioski, but this time Stoke were aware of the danger and able to win it, and with that win a free kick as well, as Roof, having given it away, tried to win it back, but unfairly so. And Gary Rowett, at least happy to see his side with the ball for now, but not happy with the way that this game has progressed. He's a man that has been tasked with trying to get them back to the Premier League, and
again, it's just another long ball to nobody in particular there, and Rowett was looking a little bit forlorn there as he sort of got up from the dugout, just walked out to the edge of his technical area. He will be frustrated because on paper his side can play much better football than what they've shown here. We've not seen enough of the midfield three, and we've not seen enough of the attacking three either. Afobe's getting no service, McLean and Ince aren't able to test the fullbacks, and Atebo and Dye and Allen, for the names that they've got in midfield, they should be doing a bit more as well.
yeah, that's fair to say at this stage of the match. Of course, the second half they will see a different approach from Stoke. Be interesting to see if Leeds can keep up this type of press for the most part. Phobie almost pounced on a mistake here, but doesn't quite get there. It was a high ball. Cooper didn't deal with it initially. He let it bounce in his own box, and Phobie almost wrestled him out the way to go and claim it. Would have been goal side and just 8 yards out to tap it in. Fortunately, Peacock Farrell finally grasping the ball between his hands before sending it out, and Leeds begin from the back. Very happy to play out from their own half. They've done it time and time again in this first half. Ayling on the right-hand side decides to simply roll it back into his own half of the field, and Leeds on the verge of taking this lead in at half-time then. A win to start the season will calm any fears, any concerns about potentially what this Marcelo Bielsa era is about to bring. 1 minute of additional time. Leeds might well get another goal. They've found a good path forward. Shot comes in, Butler. He's thrown it over his line, and Leeds do have a 2-0 lead. It's Hernandez who had the opportunity. He was just on the edge of the area. It was far too simple the way that Leeds found a way from back to front. 3 passes into the path of Hernandez, and Butland, who's made some great saves today, doesn't manage to do so this time and parries over his own line.
Well, we have a second goal right on the stroke of half-time, and it's Leeds United who've taken a 2-goal lead, and it'll be a disappointing one for a Stoke goalkeeper, Jack Butland, who's made some good saves in this first half, kept Leeds out a couple of times, but it was just a long ball towards the left-hand side, played it towards the middle. Hernandez hits a shot, which is pretty much straight at Butland. Where he's diving, he doesn't even have to stretch to save that. The ball isn't anywhere near the corner of the goal. It catches Butland square on 2 arms and goes into the back of the net. It'll be very disappointed there, the England goalkeeper, that he allowed that one to go in. Stoke haven't done enough in these last 10 minutes or so. Leeds have been doing more pressing, but even so, a second goal now makes it very comfortable for Leeds indeed. 2-0.
It's not the way you want your season to start, either individually for Jack Butland or as a whole for Stoke City. 3rd goal in his last 4 appearances at Ellen Road for Pablo Hernandez. Of course, that's stretching back to last season. This only the first game at Ellen Road of the new season. So a man that has got history of scoring on home soil. Well, there was a huge hand of favour in the way that one came about, and Leeds do have that 2-0 advantage that we spoke about, that they were so desperate to take in at the break. I think their performance in this first half has probably deserved it, to be fair. They've had the better of the play, they've created enough chances, and there the whistle goes. At half-time then, Leeds 2, Stoke 0.
Right, so it's half-time, 2-0 to Leeds. I'm going to put on some music now because it's half-time. So if you are going to need to stream, make sure to come back in 15 minutes when the second half does begin again. And make sure to subscribe as well, because we are aiming for 700 subscribers by the end of the day.
to the baseline.
Right, second half is starting now, so I'm going to put it back on the commentary.
Probably deserving of their second goal. They created a couple of chances towards the end of the half, and we need to see a marked improvement from Stoke City. Myself, Paul Shabackovic and Bobby Jackson taking you through this one.
Yeah, massively we need to see a change from Stoke. They weren't in the game often enough in that first half. One or two opportunities that they probably should have taken. The one with McLean in particular stands out. When he tried to find a phobia instead of going himself in, hit the ball from range. That one a bit more speculative, but hitting the crossbar nonetheless. But in terms of overall play, Leeds were the better side on the field. They looked as though they were more organised, that the players had a better idea of what they were doing. Stoke at the moment just look as though they're struggling to get to grips with the new season.
They are. They just need to get a bit more of a hold in midfield. And you look at the names they have. We'll go through the teams very quickly in just a moment. But certainly you'd think as though Stoke should have had a bit more of a say in what went on in midfield. But they just seemed a little bit lax as Eric Peters now sends a high header up into the air, still putting his midfielders under pressure. Cleek doing what he can to try and win the ball off at Tabo, doing too much according to our referee, Mr. Duncan. So Leeds have got Bailey, Peacock Farrell in goal. Then they've got Luke Ayling, Gaetano Berardi, Liam Cooper and Barry Douglas as the four across the back. It's Mateusz Cleek and Calvin Phillips as the two holding midfielders, with Samuel Saiz, Pablo Hernandez and Izgan Alioski as the three further forward, and Kemar Roof is the man up front for Stoke City. Jack Butland is in goal with Max Bauer, Ryan Shawcross, Bruno Martins, Indy and Eric Peters as the four across the back. Three in midfield of Joe Allen, Pape Ndai and Tabo, with Tom Ince, James McLean and Benny Kafobe as the lone man up front. And he really was the lone man in that first half. Hardly got any service at all.
Nothing. Ince picked up the ball a few times and had a charge towards goal. McLean picked up the ball a few times and did the same. None of them got their head up and looked for a phobia. There's a reason he was brought in by Gary Rowett. Feels that he's got goals at championship level and that he can play a big part this season, but that won't be the case if his teammates don't get their head up and look for his runs.
Absolutely, as Stoke have now won the ball back, but it's still deep in their own half. McLean having to play this square to Joe Allen. He goes square now to Ndai. He rolls the ball forward, looking for a Tabo, who's actually probably the most attacking out of the three in midfield, actually looking at the way they set up in the first half. Certainly a Tabo is the one pushing forward further than Ndai and Allen. In the meantime, McLean gets the ball on the left-hand side. He can't keep it in play, though, under pressure from Pablo Hernandez. So it is now going to be a throw to Leeds on the right-hand side. Ayling gets the ball back from Cleek. He's under pressure. He has to go back in towards Berardi. And now Berardi just looking up and sends a high ball now towards the penalty area. It's a bit too short for Roof. Loose ball now drops to a Tabo, and he's got to do some work to roll that one back to Butland, who wants to forget about that mistake from the first half as quickly as possible. And it really was a mistake. That second goal shouldn't have really happened. It was a shot that was pretty much straight at Jack Butland.
It was. It should have been comfortably brought in. He might have another one to deal with here.
Yeah, good ball played up towards Kemar Roof, who is onside. He'd been forced out wide, though, and in the end, the chip into the box. Well, it was a hit and hope, really. He didn't look up at all, Kemar Roof, because if he did look up, he would have seen there was nobody in the 6-yard box. He's not offside there as that ball is played, so he's got far too much space.
Yeah, and we saw that in the first half a couple of times. Roof is making really intelligent runs, actually, and he's got great players around him who are finding him pretty often. When they spot him making that charge, they know he's got the pace to get beyond the defenders and room to go and expose. Didn't have anyone in the middle then to try and find, which was the unfortunate thing for Leeds.
Yeah, well, we were getting a replay of that Kemar Roof chance, and in the meantime, it looks like Max Bauer's given a free kick away because we have got a ball here for Leeds on the left-hand side. It's a long way from goal, but it's close enough for Hernandez to think about a cross in from that left-hand side. It's probably about maybe 40 yards from that goal line on the left-hand side. Pablo Hernandez now with his arm up. He's going to send the ball into the penalty area. There's only Stoke players close to it, really. There's still a Leeds player coming in at the far post trying to win that one. It looks like it was Berardi, but he couldn't quite get on the end of it.
Yeah, it's a nice idea. Get it in with a bit of whip and see who's arriving that far post. Bounces in such a dangerous area as well, doesn't it? Just before the 6-yard box. Far enough away from Butland that he's not going to attempt to come for that one. And if you put it in there, sort of percentage ball every time, you're going to find yourself coming up with a bit of luck at times.
Absolutely, you've got to make your own luck in those situations. Just a bit too much whip on that one from Hernandez, but now a long clearance from Jack Butland over towards the left-hand side. It's headed out by Ayling, and there will be a throw to Stoke. Chance for them to try and get some players, get some bodies forward, get some possession inside the Leeds half. Didn't really have too much of throughout the first 45 minutes. It's a throw from Peters to McLean, who's under a bit of pressure, having to go back towards the halfway line. Here is Shawcross now. Bit of a heavy touch there from Tom Ince, having to go back to Shawcross, and he's got to send this one all the way back now towards Butland, who just plays a short ball towards the right-hand side for Shawcross. Shawcross now square towards Martin Zindi. Dye under a bit of pressure, but he does well to get away from problems there. Plays it square to Tabo, who is in Dye again. Now Peters. Leeds have flooded that midfield. They're not making it easy for Stoke to go forward at all. Here is Joe Allen now on the right-hand side. Just plays it back in towards Shawcross. Forward to Tabo, back towards Joe Allen. This is still only on the halfway line, though. It's been a long spell of possession for Stoke without really gaining any territory at all. And Leeds have done what they can to sew up the midfield.
They have, and that's what it's going to be about in this second half at times as well. They're going to have to show a different side of their game, not just the attacking intent.
But here comes a good ball from Tabo towards McLean. McLean gets the ball in, and Owen Ince has almost not made himself, but the ball gets back to him. Now, was that he brought down? The referee says he was. And Stoke City have a penalty on 51 minutes. It's a bit of a calamity for Leeds, really, because it looked as though that first ball was cleared. It came back in, and that's where Tom Ince has been brought down by Barry Douglas. It's almost Douglas just falling over and landing on Ince's leg.
Yeah, I don't know how much Douglas knows about it, how much intent there is. I mean, he's got an arm out, making sure he's in contact with Ince, but it's the way that he falls. Ince obviously makes the most of it as well in that situation. I think he knows that he's got a good chance to win inside a penalty. But a goal here for Stoke really does now put this game out in the open.
It does. It opens things out again, and it's going to be the number 9, Benica Fobe, who's hardly had any service at all this afternoon from his teammates, but now he's got a chance from the spot on 52 minutes to get Stoke City back into this game. It's a Fobe, and he sends it down the middle. He waited for Bailey Peacock-Farrell just to dive over to the right and then chipped it straight down the middle.
It's a great penalty, isn't it? In a pressure situation, 2-0 down. Need this to inspire a comeback potentially for his side, and there was no sign of nerves at all from an experienced front man. Stays his time, waits for the young goalkeeper to come in, and just slides it simply down the middle.
And so Stoke City have a goal back early on in this second half on 52 minutes. It's a Benica Fobe from the penalty spot that gets Stoke City back into this game. It was a move down the left-hand side from McLean. He gets the ball into Tom Ince. Ince had his initial attempt at a shot cleared away, but the ball goes straight back to Tom Ince. He just gets tangled up a bit with Barry Douglas, who falls over and almost lands on Tom Ince's leg. The contact was enough to bring Tom Ince down, and referee Mr. Duncan was under no doubt that that was a penalty kick, and a confident penalty kick as well from Benica Fobe, just chipping it straight down the middle, having watched goalkeeper Peacock-Farrell dive out of the way. So it's now Leeds United 2, Stoke City 1.
Just a moment of concern now as well for Luke Ayling, who's caught a ball to the face. Took a moment to gather himself and was assessed by the referee, as well as Badu and Dye. The Stoke man who had a little bit of concern for him, but it seems to be okay. He's gathered himself and trotting back down the other end of the field. So Stoke taking the goal kick through Butland, looking for a Tabo. Get there initially, Leeds can clear, and now we see whether Leeds have got enough about them in terms of hanging on to this, maybe even re-establishing themselves as the dominant side in this game. It always had to be an improvement from Stoke in this second period, and so far so good from the Potters, although that's a really poor ball forward, massively overhit, and will go behind for the goal kick. Brings an end to the attack this time around for the former Premier League side.
Be interested to see exactly how Leeds respond now, having conceded that goal. Are they going to just be a little bit naturally more defensive now, trying to stop anything that Stoke are creating? Are Stoke now going to be on the bounce slightly to try and get that equaliser? Still a long way to go in the game, of course, only 54 minutes on the clock, so we've still got over half an hour to go. There's plenty of time for anything to happen, really. The game could end up 2-1 as we have now. It could end up being a draw, and certainly Stoke will feel as though they could turn around and still win the game. But I would say there are probably going to be more goals in the game the way it's gone so far as Leeds push forward. A lovely ball into Kemar Roof, who's got space to get a shot away. The angles were against him, though, and as he turns, he fires one over the bar.
Yeah, it's not the best effort in the world, is it? We're stretching a little bit, technique lacking in the end. But again, it's a really good run. It's what he's done all game there. Gets in behind the midfielders, in front of the defenders, too quick for Shawcross, and he just can't get his knee over the top of that ball to get it on target. Especially if you're thinking back to that first half, although Leeds were dominant, Stoke hit the bar, they had the chance through McLean we spoke of, and you think of Leeds' goals, the second one in particular should have been dealt with. We probably could be looking at a game here that's level if chances go the right way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although Leeds were better in possession, Stoke aren't out of this.
No, absolutely not. You're absolutely right to say that Stoke have had their chances as well, and of course that shot off the bar and a couple of other half chances as well, as Leeds now push forward down the left-hand side. All this has started because there was a very poor clearance from Jack Butland, who's having a bit of a bad game today, really. Just sliced the clearance, which went out for a Leeds throw, and now Leeds have got some possession around the Stoke City penalty area. Alioski goes down there claiming that Bauer was holding him, referee not interested, but the ball now drops to Alioski, who picked himself up and puts it across towards the far post, and it needed a header away from McLean tracking back into the box because Ayling was waiting at the far post.
Actually worked out quite well, didn't it, for Alioski, the fact that he was dragged to the floor because Bauer then forgot all about him. He was in space, ball hung up to that far post, decent area, again percentage ball really, and McLean, credit to him for tracking back. At times has been criticised for a lack of defensive nows, but was in the right place at the right time to put it behind.
Yeah, it's our fourth corner kick of the afternoon. Leeds have had 3 of them, and it is going to be a left-footed in-swinger from the right-hand side. It goes right across goal, and it's in the back of the net, and it looks like it's captain Liam Cooper that puts Leeds 3-1 up.
Yeah, powerful header, isn't it? Really well delivered, that pace and whip on it in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and Cooper arriving with a bullet header into the far corner. Be interested to see a replay of this just to have a look at how much space time he had. Again, they all start from their positions, edge of the box, and Part makes the run to the near post, and there's no one with him. In the end, he is side by side with a Stoke player, but there was no one tracking him there.
It's a good header, but as you say, there's nobody stopping the path of the ball reaching him there, is there? And that's a really good header from Liam Cooper to put Leeds 3-1 up, and Stoke City are back to where they started.
Yeah, they've got to gather themselves once again, having thought they'd fought their way back into this. Leeds have re-established that 2-goal cushion.
Leeds have re-established that 2-goal cushion, and it was from a corner kick from the right-hand side. Initially it was a move on the left with a good ball in from Alioski, which was heading for Ayling. That one is headed out for a corner, and from the resulting corner, a ball is whipped in, left-footed ball in towards the near post. Liam Cooper with the header gets that ball across goal, and there's no chance for Butland to react to that one. It's in the back of the net. Good header from Cooper, excellent ball in from the left, from the right-hand side, but you have to say that the marking again was a bit suspect. Stoke have looked a little bit open in defence a couple of times this afternoon. And having got a goal back to make it 2-1, they find themselves 3-1 down in a very short space of time. Leeds looking comfortable again.
Leeds have got a throw in at the moment on the halfway line, and they might be looking just to try and slow things down for the moment. Douglas is actually taking his time with it.
It was Douglas's cross, wasn't it, from the corner kick? He had 14 assists in the Championship, leading that table along with Aston Villa's Snodgrass, but that was an excellent ball in and a very good header.
Yeah, fantastic delivery, and one of the reasons Leeds were chasing him and desperate to bring him into the club. Having played such a huge role in Wolves' promotion campaign, and shows how ruthless I suppose Wolves can be now that they've got money to spend and contacts in high places that they can bring in a different calibre of player. Douglas left by the wayside and having to start all over again in the Championship and looking for another promotion campaign. Leeds will certainly be hoping that that is the case. They can do it in similar fashion. They'd love that, the way that Wolves romped to the title last season. Marcelo Bielsa, despite his side leading 3-1, is screaming at his players and trying to orchestrate things.
Well, he's trying to gesticulate because I don't think he has much English yet, has he, Mr. Bielsa? So I think he was just trying to, well, that looked like the international symbol for sort of move it around, keep the ball in midfield. I think he doesn't want to have too much cheap possession lost because he knows that as soon as Stoke get on the ball, they can be dangerous themselves.
Yeah, they can be a real threat. We've not seen that of them in the game as of yet. Enough in glimpses that have shown their ability, but I suppose as a whole that's the difference, isn't it? Leeds have played well as a team today. Stoke individually have had a couple of good performances.
They have, but as a unit they've not played that well. The Leeds have given away a free kick just on halfway. A bit of contact there with Shawcross as he was clearing the ball. So the ball's been brought back for Stoke to have this free kick. Looking at the two benches this afternoon, there's certainly some attacking options here for Stoke City. We see they've got Crouch and Jufa there as well, both very good attacking players. So certainly it just depends on what Rowett wants to do in terms of trying to change things. And also in terms of midfield, they've got Boyan back as well.
Yeah, that's the one that was standing out for me. I know he struggled at times, but player who started out life with Barcelona now finds himself in the Championship and does have ability on his day. Crouch is one as well, if they can get delivery in, that probably is going to win a few headers, and I wouldn't be surprised if Gary Rowett starts looking that way soon. We're at the hour mark now.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Patrick Bamford on the bench for Leeds as well. The everlasting loan player who's now finally getting some permanent deals, left Middlesbrough for Leeds, and we'll see how he beds into the side as the season wears on. It's a throw on to Stoke now on the halfway line on the right-hand side with Max Bauer. He sends it back to Martin Zindi. And Stoke City just needs to do a little bit more to try and get back into the game. They scored that penalty, which brought them straight back into it, but they're only a goal behind for about 3 or 4 minutes before they found themselves 2 goals behind again.
Yeah, it's a hammer blow, isn't it? You're on the high, you're feeling that you're starting to turn the game around, and maybe you've got potential of taking something from it, having been in such a poor position at the break, and to concede a goal in that fashion from a set piece, something that Stoke only 5-6 years ago really took pride in defending when they were under Tony Pulis. They've obviously got worse and worse over the years under a few different managers, and so poor to allow Cooper that room to get a header in free pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, that's what would have frustrated Rowett, is that it's just basics, isn't it? Marking up at set pieces, what you expect from your team at any level, really. That was a bit disappointing. Nice work here, though, in midfield from Tommins. Keeps away from 2 players, then rolls the ball to Atebo. Atebo's ball to McLean isn't the best. It was the equivalent of a hospital pass, really. And McLean is letting Atebo know that as well.
Yeah, understandably so. He'd taken up a good position. Instead done well initially. Atebo had time on that. There was no reason to undercook the pass at all. McLean had sort of held his run to make sure that he had time to run onto the pass and that there was going to be enough space to take a touch and either then try and beat his man or get a cross in. Neither were available because Atebo left him short there, and that's not good enough from the summer signing.
It's not. We're going to see Darren Fletcher coming on here for Stoke City for the aforementioned Atebo.
Yeah, he's not played his best game today, has he? I mean, we saw him at the World Cup and glimpses of what he could do. I think a lot of Stoke fans were really excited to get him in. Today he's not played to his best level. It's not going to be nice for him to come off after hearing all that from James McLean and playing the poor pass and then see your number go up in quick succession. But Darren Fletcher, experienced man to come on, and I think Boyan was on the touchline there as well, about to be introduced.
Yeah, we'll see if Boyan's going to be coming on. It looks like he will be. This is going to be for Pape and Dye as well, who is going to be replaced. I actually did commentary when Boyan got that horrible injury away at Rochdale in the Cup. Having scored a great goal in that game early on, he then did his ligaments, and I think he's pretty much had 18 months, if not longer, out with injury since then.
Yeah, he had a loan spell in Germany at the second half of last season, didn't he, to try and rebuild some fitness and get back to where he knows he can be. Now he's got the perfect chance in the Championship this season if he stays between now and the end of the window to go and try and further get himself back on track at a lower level.
Yeah, absolutely. He's certainly got the ability. He's got the pace. He's got a great shot on him as well as Boyan. So we'll see how he can get back into this Stoke side. How much of a solution he's going to be for them. Free kick now to Stoke City, just at the edge of their own area. Kemar Roof judged to have fouled Ryan Shawcross, and Jack Butland with the long clearance for Stoke City. The ball's out towards the left-hand side. Boyan with his first touch, back to Joe Allen, who is blocked off, but the ball still stays with Stoke. Boyan to Joe Allen again, left-hand edge of the penalty area. McLean is up there as well. Pass was meant to go to him, but there's a challenge in between, and it's going to be a throw-on to Stoke City now on that left-hand side. Peters is up there to take the throw, gets it to Allen. Allen trying to just shield the ball away from Hernandez, and he does so, but then Hernandez puts it out for a throw. So it's another chance here for Stoke to try and get that ball into the penalty area. Ince and Fobe are waiting. Boyan is there as well. McLean is just on the left-hand edge of the penalty area. Just waiting to see how Stoke want to take this one. McLean now gets the ball in, which deflects off the challenge of Baradi. It's going to be a corner kick.
Yeah, good pressure from Stoke. Still not done in this game. Feel more goals in it, and if they can get the next one, then again, there's hope that they can maybe turn it around. I feel a victory is probably out of reach at the moment. Not impossible, but very difficult. But a draw, certainly, if they can get a goal sooner rather than later.
Here comes the ball in now from the left-hand side. It's a high one as well. It's headed down back across the penalty area. Ince couldn't quite get the shots away. Fletcher picks it up and plays it back to Allen, who was on the left-hand edge of the penalty area. He now plays it in towards Boyan. Boyan trying to skip away from two players. Just tries to do a little bit too much in the end. And the ball is swept away and cleared towards the halfway line. Stoke have to start again, but that's a little bit better from them. They need to do more of that now.
They do. They need to have much more of that pressure, keeping Leeds on the back foot. I still don't feel fully convinced about Leeds' back line. We've not seen them tested as much today as maybe they could have been, and when there have been chances for Stoke to break out and try and create issue, they've done it quite well. So I think they need to start asking a few more questions in this last 25 minutes.
Well, Stoke are trying to do just that now, with Boyan trying to flick a ball to Joe Allen. Allen then tries to poke it through to Fobe. Didn't quite make it through to him. Kemar Roof is back in his own half for Leeds, trying to keep this ball alive, trying to start a counter-attack really, but there's a quick challenge there from Bruno Martins-Indi, putting that one out for a throw to Leeds United just on halfway on the left-hand side. Chance for the home side to try and keep a bit of possession here. It did look as though there was another substitute being ready, but I think it might just be another instruction there from Marcelo Bielsa. If he actually wants to say anything to his players, he's got to go via one of his coaches, I think, who's also working as an interpreter as well. It's always going to be a bit of an issue, the language barrier. But of course, I'm sure Bielsa and Leeds, for that matter, will be hoping that he is at the club long enough to learn a bit of English.
Yeah, that will be the plan, that he stays around long enough. He's been in a fair few clubs over the last few years where he hasn't stuck around long enough. Lazio and Lille, where he's had fortunate circumstances, where he's either decided to leave of his own accord or he's been given the boot. But Leeds certainly will hope, having brought him in for big money, that he's around for the long haul.
Absolutely, yes. There's some real investment from Leeds United after we could say a couple of years of eccentric ownership from Mr. Cellino. Since then, of course, the next Leeds United owner really has done what he can to try and get a bit more stability into the club, and certainly the signs are looking good for this season. A long ball now, looking for Kemar Roof, which very nearly got to him, but Butland is out to the edge of his penalty area and picks that one up, rolls it out towards Ryan Shawcross, who then sends a high ball towards the edge of the Leeds penalty area. That's not the best touch from Cooper. Could have actually been used by Tomits, but he decides to let that one go out for a throw, which he then takes short to Boyan. Boyan then runs this out for another throw to Stoke City. Bauer is up this time to take the throw, and he throws it out to Boyan. Just spins it and turns it and gets the ball towards Joe Allen. He goes back towards Eric Peters, who's playing through the middle this time. Peters' pass is cut off. Kemar Roof is back, and he rolls this now to Alioski. And this could be a chance now as Saiz brings the ball forward down the left-hand side. He then finds Alioski on the left. Alioski chips the ball into Roof, who takes it down on the chest. Shawcross is back, though, to try and get a challenge in. Roof still keeps the ball. Martins-Indi is trying to dispossess him as well. But Leeds still keep possession. It's all the way back to Douglas, who goes back towards the halfway line, but Leeds can try again here now. Douglas finds Alioski, who gets the ball in. It's teed up here for Gleek, who smashes it wide from just 6 yards. And that really would have been a lovely goal from Leeds there, with that ball being played in from the left-hand side It's Alioski puts the cross in. It gets a deflection of Bauer. Very clever work from Hernandez to flick it back to Cleek, but then the strike goes wide.
Yeah, it's good play, isn't it? We've seen that from Leeds a lot of times in this game. I mean, Alioski had two to aim for there with that ball curled around the back. Finds Hernandez so well, and the presence of mind from the Spaniard just to tee it back for Cleek, who again, he's so far forward. He's just not being tracked time and time again, making those runs from midfield. And he just slices his effort wide.
So Leeds still leading by 3 goals to 1 against Stoke City, but it was safe for a moment of attack from Stoke. It's Leeds that have still looked fairly dangerous. They just had a very good chance now with Alioski putting the ball in from the left-hand side. Hernandez then flicked the ball back towards Cleek, who was pushing into the box again, but his strike from quite close in actually was wide in the end. At the other end, Stoke have had a lot of possession around the Leeds penalty area, but they've not really been able to get any kind of shots away on goal since that penalty. A couple of moves down the left-hand side from McLean, a couple of moves for Ince down the right, but nothing really. They've made 2 changes as well, with Boyan and Fletcher coming on for Ndai and Ateba, but at Ellen Road so far it's still Leeds United 3, Stoke City 1.
Leeds with that 2-goal cushion, and they went in with at half-time, re-establishing themselves and probably look favourites to go and get a 4th in this game. If either side is to get another goal, they've had the better opportunities over the last 5 or so minutes, certainly since they got their 3rd goal. Free kick here won by Stoke on the halfway line as Phillips dangles out a leg for Allen to go over. Change in that midfield for Stoke, of course, with Boyan and Fletcher both on as well.
Absolutely, yes. There's a hit come Stoke City now. Just hand back to Bobby once this attack breaks down. It has just broken down, so 69 minutes gone. Leeds 3, Stoke City 1, and it's Bobby to take you through to full time.
Thanks very much, Paul. Leeds attempting to come on forward with Kemar Roof, but Martin Tindy will beat him to that ball, and under pressure, didn't want to mess about, puts it into touch for a throw. So Leeds have the chance to restart play pretty much level with the edge of the Stoke box down the right-hand side of the field as they shoot towards goal. Shooting from right to left in this second half. It's going to be the right-back, Luke Ayling, to come forward and take it. In no hurry, all about game management at this stage of a match. And you've got a 3-1 advantage opening day of the season. Probably a bit of fatigue still, a little bit rusty and all that sort of stuff. Players who have got themselves into this position need to make sure they hang on to it. I'm surprised Leeds haven't made a change as of yet. Trevor Bielsa maybe just thinks another 5 minutes or so and might look to shut up shop. Roof puts one in, but Butland will come and claim the cross rather comfortably. Trying to get rid of it quickly, but body language there suggests that there was no one making runs for him, and he just rolls it out to Shawcross and then again just throws his arms up to the attacking players further down the field and asks where were your runs. Not good enough in Butland's eyes. Of course, wants his team to try and turn this around to atone for his error. And put Leeds into a 2-0 lead at the break when he palmed one into the back of his own net. Ball forward now towards Afobe, headed away by Cooper. Brought down by Leeds in midfield, then clipped over the top for Size to go and chase. Martin Tindy has put it back to Butland, who was under pressure but does really well to play it out to Fletcher. And the clearance downfield, but only into the possession of a Leeds player and Phillips. Exchanges passes there in defence with Berardi and now Cooper. Phillips again, and all too comfortable. Stoke dropping back into a shape and allowing Leeds to play around with it on the halfway line. Well, there's no pressure. And I welcome the West Yorkshire outfit. Throw in here. Leeds again down the right-hand side, and every time this ball goes out of play, the seconds tick down, and Leeds edge ever closer to picking up a first win of the season.
Yes, they are. I mean, as I say, it'd be difficult to find an argument for saying that Leeds aren't going to win this game at the moment. If Stoke were to get a quick goal back for 3-2, then things could certainly start going perhaps in favour of a draw, but at the moment it's hard to predict that.
Again, we're seeing Leeds preparing a substitution now, and Marcelo Bielsa is having to dictate his instructions through an interpreter. Hope that the message is passed on correctly as they look to try and hold on to this game. That change should be made in just a moment's time. Of course, it will be delayed longer than a substitution normally would because the message has to be passed through a third person. All out towards the left-hand side now for Leeds. Headed away though by Bauer. Having to touch for the throw. Patrick Bamford is out there warming up for Leeds. Perfect game situation you feel for him to come on and get 10 minutes, 5 minutes potentially. Leeds are winning, pressure off, and chance to go out there and maybe nick a goal on his competitive debut. Douglas with a throw for Leeds, and again taking his time, trying to eat into the clock as much as possible. He eventually goes down the line to Hernandez. His header back isn't to anyone in white, and Joe Allen can get rid in towards McLean, who's running into traffic and has to go back to Butland, and again just shows the presence of the Leeds players inside the final third, both from an attacking and a defensive side of things. Phobia's gone down here off the ball. James McLean then went very strongly into a challenge and I think has won his side of throw-in. But Phobie went down as there was a long ball down the field. We'll get a look at it here.
It's colliding with Cooper. Well, I mean, is there a bit of an elbow left there from Cooper? I don't think he swings with the elbow. He might have just left the elbow there for Phobie to run into, if you like. But did the referee have his yellow card out there? I thought he might have done. It certainly looked as though he was... I might have just seen that as he was just sort of putting it back in his pocket, but he wasn't going to use it. But Phobie's certainly not happy there, telling the referee that he thought he was being fouled.
Yeah, there was no free kick given. Play continued, and Stoke went on to win themselves a throw. And I don't even know if the referee had actually seen it, but there is an injury for a Leeds player, and a bit of concern as the right back, Luke Ayling, is down on the floor. Cooper and Phobie now involved in a discussion about that incident, as Cooper requested some fluids to take on, obviously struggling with the warm conditions a little bit. Phobie continues to go at him here. We're not going to see a change for Stoke, and it's going to be Phobie to go off.
Phobie not letting this one slide. He's still telling Cooper what he thinks, but Phobie is going to make way now, and Peter Crouch replaces him.
Leeds with a move away this summer. Peter Crouch, reports only a few weeks ago suggesting that he was wanted by Premier League side Burnley. Dyche came out to deny those reports, and he remains a Stoke player.
I think it could be an issue for Burnley. They've had a couple of bids rejected already, haven't they? They tried to get Gibson, they tried to get Rodriguez
today.
They did. They actually signed Gibson today. Well, that's good news for them, because they were looking to try and spend some money this summer. Burnley, of course, it's going to be potentially a long summer as well, bearing in mind that they've got the Europa League qualifiers as well, and Phobie is off now. Crouch is on, and that's obviously good news for Stoke if they can get the ball to him. I mean, if Phobie is quick, he can back off and actually pick the ball up himself, but he was struggling to get any service anyway. So how they're going to correct that now is a question for Stoke City, as Mateusz Klich is going to come off here for Leeds to be replaced by Stuart Dallas.
Dallas on for Klich, who scored the opening goal today for Leeds and has had a pretty decent performance all round. He gets a warm reception from the Leeds fans as he leaves the field of play. Could have well had further goals to his name as well. Had a chance in this second half when he was set up rather neatly by Pablo Hernandez at the byline. Sliced his effort away, but Stuart Dallas on. Mateusz Klich off. That's the first change for Leeds. All three changes, incidentally, now made for Stoke, with Crouch following Boyan and Fletcher onto the field of play. But as Paul rightly said, they need to get service in for Crouch. He's always a threat. He'll beat most defenders in the air. Might not be the biggest in terms of stature, but in terms of height, he is a very tricky customer to deal with. Gangly type of player that is a real nuisance for defenders. No matter what age he is, still gets up well and a threat with his head. Here he is, first chance, knocks one down, and Stoke have won a free kick, already having an impact. Dallas bringing down Fletcher, I think it might have been, but it was exactly what you'd expect with Crouch on the pitch. His header down, and Stoke trying to break on through.
Yeah, that's exactly what Stoke need to do now, is to use that the height of Crouch to try and hold that ball up and then get players in and around him. And we're still at that stage, just under 15 minutes to go. If Stoke were to get a quick second now, then it could be a nervy finish to this game for Leeds.
Two over the top of this one, Boyan and McLean. I thought Ince might well have thrown his hat into the mix for it, but it appears that Boyan has pulled rank. He's been at the club longer than both of them. McLean is the left-footed option. Boyan might fancy this. It's to the left of centre, so suits a right-footed player.
Yeah, and the
goalkeeper leads wall.
Goalkeeper just backs off to one side as well, but it's going to be McLean.
It's parried away by Peacock Farrell in the end. I think it should have probably been a right-footed effort, because it came back across the goal towards the keeper. Cross comes in now to the far post. Crouch is up there. Peacock Farrell loses it. It's headed goalwards onto the roof of the net. And that was a good chance for Leeds. For Stoke, rather.
Yeah, it was a good chance. Martin Zindi there with the header just goes over the bar in the end. Goalkeeper Peacock Farrell just having to check himself there, just colliding a little bit with Peter Crouch. There was a Leeds player almost falling into the net himself just to try and stop that going in. But eventually it is out for a goal kick, and I think the goalkeeper should be okay to carry on as well.
Yeah, it took a moment down on the deck after clashing with Crouch. He's already come on and done exactly what you would expect of him. Caused issue throughout that back line of Leeds. Yeah, right, may well be considering putting him out from the start in the next game. Match is coming thick and fast. They're going to have to rotate. Mohamed Diouf on the bench as well for Stoke. You might feel a little bit disappointed that he's not had a chance to get on today and have an impact. Crouch gives you something totally different to the rest of them as Ince recovers the ball inside his own half. Cute little pass then through into Fletcher in the midfield. He went down, unfairly challenged at the ref, so free kick for Stoke, which they can't get on with quickly. Dallas stepping over the top of the ball to prevent Stoke from sending it forward. It might work in their favour though, because now they're going to launch it downfield and look for the head of Crouch, who again gets the flick down. This time there's no runner though, and Leeds punts it away into touch. And definitely the last 5 minutes or so, Stoke have been seeing much more of the ball.
They have. They're starting to get a little bit more possession in and around the Leeds penalty area. A couple of shots as well. The looping header and the effort from the free kick, but still needs to be a little bit more. As I say, this is an improvement from Stoke already, but maybe just coming a little bit late considering how long they've had in this game where they've just not really been at the races at all.
Yeah, they needed to wake up a little bit earlier on in this one. Staying them far too long, and Leeds weren't going to sit around and wait for them to get involved in this match. They did what they needed to. They've got themselves 3 goals, and with that, look set to be going on course for a first 3 points under Marcelo Bielsa. Derby next weekend for Leeds. Might prove tough again. Derby having won their opening game of the season, edging it against Reading, although not entirely convincing, as there's a strong challenge there from Phillips. I mean, he won the ball. The Stoke player actually did his best to get out of the way. I think that's what did Phillips a favour in the end, because he came from so far out 2-footed. The Stoke player sort of stepped back and
Phillips
said,
sort of got up a little bit incredulous that the decision had been given. Then he sort of realised that there was an elder statesman that he'd done that challenge, and he sort of apologised to Darren Fletcher. Well, he slides, goes over the top of the ball. The intent isn't good from Phillips there, is it?
No, it's not at all. And referee not showing the card. Yet to see a card in this match, in fact, as Stoke take this free kick. Edge of the box, it's bouncing around. Cleared away by Phillips. Headed back down by Bauer. Boyan takes over. He's got Ince taking up valuable space next to him, and then as Ince tried to cut infield to make a different angle, he lost his footing and lost the ball, and does extremely well to get back and steal it from Leeds on the halfway line. Fletcher out left-hand side for McLean, tries to turn his man, stumbles, ball into touch.
Yeah, but that was really good from Ince. I mean, you could very easily criticise him for the way he lost his balance at the edge of the area, but then tracked back to the halfway line, something that he's been accused of not doing in the past in terms of trying to help out his teammates. But on that occasion, he did so, and at least stopped the Leeds counter-attack. So at Ellen Road, it's still Leeds United leading Stoke City by 3-1. There has just been a little spell where Stoke have improved. They've also made an attacking change as well, with Afobe going off and Peter Crouch coming on. Boyan and Fletcher were already on for Stoke before Leeds, just making the one change so far, with Cleek being replaced by Stuart Dallas. Stoke are seeing more of the ball in attack. They've had a couple of efforts as well. A looping header from Martin Zindi went just over the bar. Free kick from the edge there as well, saved as well. But other than that, there's not been enough in terms of attempts on goal from Stoke City. They've had the possession. They just need to get that ball into the box and actually test the goalkeeper, Bailey Peacock-Farrell. But so far, Leeds still lead by 3-1.
Well, battling for it here at the byline. He might well win the ball. He does, but then could only run it behind for a goal kick. He feels there was some sort of decision that should have been given his way. Linesman, who was right on top of proceedings there, felt otherwise, and the referee's actually just got across to have a word with Alan as well for his reaction in that situation.
Yeah, we could see him a little bit hidden there by a couple of other people there, but we can see the whole City manager there in the stands, and of course he'll be looking to get a much better season than what they had last year.
Yeah, taking on Aston Villa on Monday night. Plenty of games coming thick and fast in this championship. It's always the case at the start of the season. A long old pre-season behind them, and crack on with the real stuff, the competitive action. Target here for a Stoke ball forward. Too heavy and well into the final 10 minutes now, 82 and a half minutes gone. You feel that window that Stoke had after conceding the third goal to try and get back into this game has maybe passed them by. They felt that a victory was always off the cards once they conceded 3. A draw, though, was still very much in the mix. It's going to take something incredible for that to be the case in these closing stages. Marcelo Bielsa, the focus of our pitch at the moment, has a glance at his watch as he takes his perch on the drinks cooler.
I was going to say, he seems to have his own sort of special space there, isn't he? Just slightly higher than the dugout. He doesn't want to be stood up in the technical area whole game, so he has got this, as you say, he's got a drinks cooler there that he's sort of using as a makeshift bench. But looking a little bit sort of deep in thought, really, there, Bielsa, because he can see that his side just being pegged back again now as Boyan puts the ball in towards the far post. It's saved there by goalkeeper Peacock Farrell, and eventually cleared. It's still being closed down by Boyan and eventually out for a goal kick.
Not massively convincing again defensively from Leeds. As we said before, Crouch is always going to be a threat, and when this ball comes across, he's every time going to be favourite to win that. Peacock Farrell with a left hand away. It was actually the wrong hand, it would seem, but it was his highest arm anyway, and he got it back across goal.
Yeah, I can see that from that replay. I can see exactly what you mean. It's almost like it's more work to get the left hand to that ball, but
away, isn't it?
But he does so in the end. Stoke just starting to ask a few more questions, and if they were to get a goal back, you just feel as though Leeds would close up completely. But a chance now for Leeds to go forward, and then Martins indeed heads it away.
McLean hooks it downfield. Danny Crouch will go on and chase this. Peacock Farrell is hanging around the edge of the box, and Crouch, as a veteran striker does, is more than happy to engage with the goalkeeper.
Yeah, just borderline, I'd say, there from Peter Crouch. It was that collision, I would say, was avoidable, but I think he just wanted to let the goalkeeper know that he was there.
Yeah, in case they come to blows again. He's had the warning. His backroom staff, 3 of them, stepping out towards the touchline to try and voice the opinions. He said before, Marcelo Bielsa on his drinks cooler, he's always been a manager to sit down on the touchline. I think in his younger days, in the last 10 or so years, he used to crouch down on the touchline. Maybe his knees aren't quite up to that anymore, so needs the drinks cooler just so he can be sat closer to the action than the bench, but still able to take a rest and a bit of weight off as Stoke put a cross in here, low to the near post, half cleared away. Alioski then hooks it out for Leeds, and that'll go for a throw. Stoke are turning the screw a little bit, and this is testing the resilience of Leeds a little bit more in the closing stages. They're standing up to the task. The Leeds fans standing up to applaud the challenge from Phillips there, and the one from Berardi as well. That's what Leeds fans love to see, a bit of crunch, a bit of fight. Something they've maybe missed over the years. Crouch a target here at the far post for a cross. Headed away though by Douglas. 2 attempts, he gets it further clear the second time around. Comes back though towards Insu. He's trying to wrestle his way around to get this ball. He hasn't been able to keep it in play. Despite being involved in a pretty meaty tussle with Douglas.
Yeah, then Douglas just trying to wind up into a bit, flicking the ball offense to get it even further away from the goalkeeper, just to take a few seconds longer to get that goal kick away. We've got 4 minutes now plus injury time. Injury time 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Can't seem to think be much more than that.
Yeah, 4 minutes. I think probably looking at the closing stages of this game. It looks as though we're going to get another change for Leeds in a moment. Might well have been Baker who was getting his shirt on there on the touchline. This player has just gone down.
Yeah, Alioski's gone down. Is this cramp or something else? This may be Bauer there doing his best to be a good sportsman there, of course, because it's in his interest that the physio doesn't come on and we don't lose any more time. But in the meantime, Leeds have won the ball back in midfield, a chance for them to push forward.
Yeah, it's brought out by Size, but he's just run into a challenge. Wins it back, hits the deck. He's going to get a free kick there, maybe a little bit soft, but decision does go his way in the end.
He was a bit unhappy with Shawcross because he felt as though Shawcross had just left the foot on him afterwards, and then lying on the ground with the free kick, he sort of threw the ball at Ryan Shawcross. He's got a bit of cramp now as well, which this is going to have to be. We have to just wait to see how long the stoppage is going to be for this one.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of Alioski or Size to go off for a potential more defence-minded player.
Yeah, that would certainly make sense, but it might just be that Bielsa's having to wait to see now which of the two has got the worst cramp. Certainly Alioski is back on his feet, but he is, sorry, Saiss it is who's back on his feet, but he is the one who's going to be going off. And
it is Baker
to come on and replace him, absolutely, yes. So number 34, Lewis Baker now on.
Yeah, he's going to get a bit of a run out in the closing stages. Spent last season in the Championship with Middlesbrough, a Chelsea player at youth level. Time with Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship, and as most youth Chelsea players do, spell with Vitesse Arnhem in the Eredivisie, the feeder club really, one of the teams that have got a good relationship with the Premier League outfit. So he gets on for 2 minutes of normal time, and there'll be 3-4 minutes of additional time to come on top of that as well for Leeds to try and see this one out. Stoke see this ball out, a long one forward from the free kick and straight behind for the goal kick. I'm sure Butland will be trying to get on with as sharply as possible, looking for Peter Crouch. Saiss gets a hug from some of the coaching staff as he strips himself down and gets the socks and shin pads off on the touchline. Might be receiving a bit of treatment, still seems to be suffering a little bit with that cramp.
He says he's still having some cramp there. As Marcelo Bielsa, I'll tell you what, you'd need an interpreter for his sign language as well, wouldn't you, there, to try and work out what he was trying to pass on to a substitute. Was that Harrison who's going to be coming on now?
Yeah, looks as though he's going to be the next into the fray. Jack Harrison, brought in from Middlesbrough again.
And it's for Alioski, so it's the two substitutes, so it's the two wide men who have been replaced now for these final few minutes.
Just a 21-year-old midfielder. Again, just game time this early stage of the season. I'm sure Bielsa sort of probably got a pretty good idea of what his best 11 is, but there'll be one or two on the fringes that he still needs a better look at, and we'll need to know if they're capable of chipping in at times in the season when injuries come about and when the games are played 2-3 in a week and do have to rotate. It's a case of making sure that they're ticking over as Crouch tries to bring a ball down on his chest here. Keeps it alive for Stoke, then Boyan loses out, sent forwards towards Kemar Roof. Patrick Bamford might be a bit frustrated, he's not got this chance to get on today at Ellen Road to make his debut, but I'm sure his time will come. Kemar Roof will do it. He's doing well to keep him out of the side at the moment.
I think there's an issue there for Bielsa, because I think Roof's good enough to be starting every game, so it's whether or not he can get the two of them to play. But here comes Stoke now with Boyan down the right-hand side. Has he won his side a corner? Looks like he has.
Yeah, chance in these final minutes then as we tick over the 95 minutes is the verdict. That couple of substitutions and cramp we just had in the final few minutes might well have added an extra minute on to what we initially thought.
I think it's a corner after all of that.
Oh, Boyan had run to the corner flag, but yeah, everyone seems to be coming away from goal, so decision overturned.
Yeah, decision overturned, and the interesting thing as well, of course, Douglas now hobbling there a little bit with cramp. Leeds haven't got any, neither side have got substitutions left now, so it is just a case of whether he can carry on, and we've got just under 4.5 minutes of the injury time still left.
Yeah, sent long downfield then by Peacock Farrell. Doesn't quite fall into Leeds' possession. Stoke will work it around at the back to Butland, who clears there just ahead of a challenge of Kemar Roof. Flicked on by Boyan. Crouch keeps it alive and lays it into Bowie. Puts a good-looking ball over the top here. Boyan will chase after it. Puts enough pressure on Berardi to force him into a clearance, and it's going to be a corner. I think he wanted to go out for a throw, but it had enough spin on it to bounce out and away behind for the corner kick, and Ince is going to be the man to take this. Goal for Stoke now would certainly provide a little bit of nerves around Ellen Road in these closing moments. Ince left-footed to the far post, falls and it's saved. Oh, it was on the line, still not fully cleared. Leeds now do have the chance to come away with it, and on the counter-attack, can they go and grab a fourth? Roof, he's making the run. Further wide of him is Harrison, looking to get into the box now. He's stopped, he's stalled, he's turning away from the challenges, does get it across goal, and it's just beyond Roof, and it's going to go out towards the far side, and Roof will just slow it down there.
Good break out though through the middle there for Leeds. It really was a good opportunity. Dallas just forced a little bit wide in the end, but even so, that's a good moment to get the ball away. Stoke very close to getting into the net from close range after that scramble after the corner kick.
Big save by Peacock Farrell. Here it Leeds again towards the byline now. Ball to the far post. It's just beyond the man arriving at the back stick, and it's going to go out across the far side for a throw. And it was Harrison, the substitute, who taken up a good position. Bauer, I don't think quite knew where he was. He had a quick glance over his shoulder. Harrison needs to be meeting that one.
He does. There was an argument to play it square as well, rather than put that ball across. But this one drops. We're now getting a replay of the Stoke effort just a moment before. It was Martin Zindi who just about got a shot away, having after the Leeds player had missed the initial header. The shot was well saved there by Peacock Farrell before being cleared away.
Joe Allen with the final shot, wasn't it, as he spun and turned with his back to goal. The keeper just made himself as big as possible. Leeds come away down the left-hand side with Baker and in towards Kemal Roof, who has run tirelessly in this game and continues to do so, twisting and turning in the box. Cuts it back and they'll look to put a cross in here from the left-hand side. In fact, no, they'll just hold it up further, and Harrison happy to take it away from goal and win another throw in. Roof wants a handball, but the throw will suffice for now. Roof looks a tired man in what are warm conditions in West Yorkshire. 3 shots for him today, 1 on target. Not scored a goal, but down as man of the match for his tireless work ethic.
Yeah, he sort of defended from the front, you could say, almost. He's done very well at times to try and hold up what Stoke have been doing. As you say, he's not had to. I mean, 33 touches in the box is quite a lot, but considering he's only had 3 shots, he probably argue he should have had a little bit more than that. But on a couple of occasions, the ball wasn't finding him either.
It was a free kick actually for Leeds. The handball was given that Roof was appealing for. They've taken that short and won another throw-in. In the same position pretty much, about 25 yards from goal on the left flank. Douglas, ball in his hands, is not looking to release it too quickly. There's a flick down the line from Harrison, and that sums it up from Roof. He continues to chase it down despite being a lost cause and going behind for a goal kick. And 30 seconds left to go. I think we can safely say now that Leeds are picking up 3 points on the opening day of the season. A second successive season, beating Bolton last term. They've made easier work of Stoke today than many expected. They've looked really good at times. On the same theme, Stoke have looked very bad at times. Looked a little bit all over the place defensively, and Gary Rowett has work to do to get this Stoke side in shape ahead of what's going to be a long and testing season. Sometimes the pressure that comes with being a relegated side can prove heavy on the shoulders. As the full-time whistle goes, and it's finished then. Leeds 3, Stoke 1.
Right, so that is the end of the game. Leeds won 3-1. Thanks for watching the stream. If you are still here, make sure to subscribe, because we will be doing more championship streams. Maybe Leeds and Stoke streams when they are on midweek. Probably not next week because Premier League starts. I'll probably be doing Premier League streams. But anyway, thanks for watching this stream. We are 15 subscribers off 700 subscribers. So if you can subscribe me, that would be much appreciated. We have gained over 150 subscribers today, so that is really good. But I'm going to end the stream now. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully next time I do stream.